The Princess and the Pea. Like, share, and subscribe. Once there was a prince who wanted to marry a princess. However, she had to be a real princess, and nothing less would do. Princesses of all kinds traveled from neighboring kingdoms to meet the prince. For one reason or another, the prince did not believe that the young women were truly princesses, and he sent them all away. The queen, who was the prince's mother, offered to help. "Let me talk to the princesses," she said. "I will find out if they are real." The stubborn prince shook his royal head. "No, mother," he said. "I must find out by myself." Finally, no more princesses came to the palace, so the prince decided to go on a journey. "If I must, I will search the world over for a princess," said the prince. "We will miss you," said his father sadly. The queen just waved goodbye, shaking her head over the whole business. The prince traveled to France. There he was introduced to La Princess Maribel, who lived in a huge chateau. "Enchanted to meet you," said the lovely princess as they sat down to have tea. The prince traveled and traveled until he came to Arabia. There he met a great princess, Princess Morgana. The prince went riding with Morgana, and she rode very well. But the princess did not ride side saddle, which was the ladylike custom. "Morgana sits on a horse like a man," the prince said to himself. "Surely she is not a real princess. I must take my leave." Finally, the prince arrived in India. There he met the daughter of a great king. As they spoke together, Princess Irie reached for a grape from a fruit bowl. The prince sighed. The princess did not ask her servant to peel the grape before she ate it. He said to himself, "Surely she is not a real princess. I will have to say farewell." The prince returned home looking most unhappy. He told the king and queen that he could not find a real princess anywhere in the world. "I am so sorry, my boy," said the king, trying to comfort his son. The queen just shook her head and wondered if the day would ever come where her son would ask for her help. One night soon afterward, there was a terrible storm. Lightning flashed through the castle and rain poured down on the rooftops. As the king was crossing the great hallway, he heard a knock on the door. "Who's there?" he called, going to open the door himself. There stood a beautiful young woman, soaking from head to dainty toe. "Won't you come in?" said the king. "You are most kind," the dripping girl answered. "I have lost my way in the storm. My name is Princess Candace Alicia Royale." The king hurried the princess inside and then sent for the prince to come meet her. The prince thought Princess Candace was charming. "But how can I be sure she is a real princess?" he whispered to his father. "Perhaps you should ask your mother," the king whispered back. The prince agreed and went at last to ask his mother for help. The queen liked the girl immediately. "You poor, tired thing," she said to the princess. "Won't you stay for the night?" When Candace agreed, the queen went to prepare a bed for her. First, the queen ordered the servants to strip the princess's bed. "Now we shall find out if Candace is a real princess," said the queen, and she carefully placed a single pea in the center of the bed frame. After, the queen ordered the servants to pile 10 thick mattresses on top of the bed and 10 heavy quilts on top of the mattresses. Then a servant went and brought the princess. "Your bed is ready, my dear," said the queen. "I do hope you will be comfortable." But that night the princess was not comfortable. Hour after hour, the exhausted creature tossed and turned. "Oh me, oh my," the princess moaned. To help her sleep, the princess tried counting castles. She tried counting handsome princes too, but nothing helped Candace to fall asleep. The next morning, the queen invited the princess to breakfast. "My dear, did you sleep well?" she asked, holding her breath for the answer. "I scarcely slept at all," Candace replied wearily. "I lay on something so hard that I am black and blue all over." The queen looked surprised, but she could not have been more delighted. The queen quickly told the prince what had happened. "Candace is a gem," she said at last. "Anyone delicate enough to feel a pea through 10 quilts and 10 mattresses is a real princess." The prince was relieved. He smiled warmly at Candace. Before the day was over, he and the princess were in love. Before the month had passed, the young couple were married. The royal wedding was a dazzling affair. The king's subjects loved their new princess. They also loved the story of the Princess and the Pea and told the story to their children for many years to come. As for the pea itself, it was put on display in the Royal Museum. You may see it there still if someone hasn't taken it, and that, of course, is a true story.